Welcome to this masterclass on how to create a winning agency culture code that attracts rockstar employees and clients you love to work with. It's about getting your culture right, and you can get your agency right. So who am I? My name is Clodagh Higgins. I've worked with over 500 agencies over the past 6 years. I used to work in HubSpot as a channel consultant. I now am working in Grow It, which is an agency consulting firm. And I'm the host of Agency Life podcast, where I speak to agencies every week about what it's like to run their business, the good and the bad and the ugly. And I used to own my own digital agency for a total of 10 years. And I'm the author of A Happy and Healthy Digital Agency. I'm also super passionate about helping agency owners have the businesses of their dreams. So what's in today's agenda for this masterclass? This is very much hands-on, and there are links for the supporting documents for you to print out or download and work along with me. But in this agenda, we're just going to talk about the challenges that digital marketing agencies have, what culture means and what it does not mean, why it's important. Everyone's hearing about the word culture floating around, and a lot of people are wondering, is it really an important thing or is it a nice to have? What would success look like? What the difference between a culture code and an actual just the word culture is, and then how to create it. We're going to get hands-on. So you're actually going to leave this masterclass with a clear plan on what you need to do to create a culture code in your agency. So if we start at the top, we hear these challenges from agencies all the time. These are like the top 3 that we hear, that they need help in creating a good agency culture. They need help finding good talent, and they need help retaining talents. So by doing this masterclass, you are going to set yourself up well on the path to resolving these 3 challenges. What does culture actually mean? So it's not yogurt. The word comes from Latin and it means care. It's a living set of relationships where you're working towards a shared goal. It's not something you are, it's something you become. It's something you do in your business when you're actually doing it all the time. It's about how you interact with each other in your business. With over 500,000 estimated agencies worldwide, you are going to need to stand out from those other agencies. And you don't have to be a large business to have a winning culture. And not only will it attract great employees, it will also attract good fit clients. Today, people want to belong to a business that is clear about its vision, that has a purpose, and that is making a positive difference in the world. A company that cares about the careers of its people, and it compensates not only with good wages, but in perks and in benefits. Culture and creating a culture code are 2 very different things. And over the next masterclass series, I'll probably estimate about 40 minutes, hopefully, I will walk you through the blueprint of how you're going to create yours. Culture is something people talk about. Culture code is the practice of actually creating a great culture in your business. So why do you think, why is it even an important thing to have? Well, Harvard, and we all know they're great for their studies, they show that companies with a great company culture generates 765% more net income over 10 years than those companies who don't. So this has to be a great place. You have to create a great place to work. You have to have people who enjoy working together harmoniously with each other. You want to be a place that attracts this exceptional talent so that you can get more done every day to help your clients in profitable ways. And that's the goal of having this culture code. Now, you don't have to make culture a priority, but some of the side effects of not having a great company culture is that you end up with a bad reputation as a place to work. And employees now are going out and posting their thoughts on forums and on Glassdoor, where other prospective employees will be looking. You'll hear things from prospects about, they'll say things like, I'm not hearing great things about your work. This could be reflective on the results that you're getting, but more often it's the fact that your employees aren't happy, so they're not educating themselves, they're not doing great work, they're not passionate about getting results for your clients. If you walk into your office and you have this feeling of heaviness, or the conversation stops, or there's a lot of whispering going on, this heavy energy, it's just not good culture. Think about your own family. It's about feeling safe and having a conversation with people. If the office is messy, if people do not clean up after themselves, it means they don't care. I mean, it's a very simple thing to just stand up from your desk when you're taking your coffee cup to the kitchen, to look around and ask other people if they would like you to take their coffee cup. It starts with small gestures like that. Even if you do get a cleaner in once a week to look after the office, the day-to-day, the maintenance, making sure milk doesn't run out, all those tiny little things are really, really important for culture. If your team isn't bonding, if you're not seeing them, maybe going for lunch together or going for a drink in the evening as a group, why is that? Why are the people that are working together all day long not socializing? Have they not got the same values? Are they not on the same page when it comes to working for your business? If your utilization is under 70%, so this is a number that we work with as a benchmark for successful agencies. So the utilization is obviously how much productive work you're billing out to the client. The other 30% has to be for internal meetings, for training, for breaks, for lunch. But really 70% of everyone's workload should be billable. And if that's not happening, you've really got to check, have you got the right systems in place? Are you doing the right things? But also your culture. Another thing to look out for is if somebody is on leave or they are ill, are the rest of the team looking out for each other? If they're not, that's an indication again that they're sticking in their lanes and it's not my job, or they're just not taking care of each other. And also, if you're doing a survey once a week with your team or once a month about how are things going in the office, if you're under 8 people, you could probably do this on a Google form, just asking generic questions like, how are things going? What can we change? If you're over 8, we recommend using something like Office Vibe, which is a sort of a temperature check for the people in your business. But if you're not getting any feedback, there is a sense of apathy. Feedback has to be good, positive, or negative for people to care, to actually talk. If you're not getting it, they're not interested. And also the final one to make culture a priority is client and staff are churning constantly. If you can't keep your clients and you can't keep your staff, the culture could be a big part of that too. So don't do this. Message clear. There are 3 pillars for creating a great culture. Build safety, have a family atmosphere, be open, listen, and be empathetic, and also establish purpose. So we're going to talk about that. You've got to share your purpose. We're going to talk about where you start with that. So let's get stuck in for it. It's a masterclass. It's meant to be hands-on, and you're going to have actions to do along with this. We start with the 6 steps. There's creating your agency story. I'm going to flick over and go through that exercise with you. There's also the culture code that you'd have to do a survey for your team, first of all, about the fact that you're doing a culture code. Then you're going to do a workshop together. You need to pull all your company policies, procedures, perks, and benefits together. You're going to talk about your office decor. This is a very important part, and it doesn't have to be an expensive exercise. And also create a culture committee. And they're the 6 steps that are involved in creating a great culture code and the ongoing maintenance of that every single month, every single quarter, all year round. Culture is something you're working on all the time. As one of the downloads that were in the landing page, if you download that, you can actually jot down some of the things to get you going, and then later on you can take it on into a deeper exercise. But the first step involved in this is creating your agency positioning exercise. So this is, I'll flick over to the document in a second. There's a time you need to book to reflect on your business. It can be in the beginning of the year, but really it can be at any time. You're either going to do this on your own, or preferably with your business partner or your life partner or your mentor or coach. And go away for an afternoon, maybe just take lunch and take the document and go through the questions. So I'll actually show you what that looks like. Here, it's a document, and the link you can download and make your own version of this. I use it in Google Docs, and it just walks you through a series of questions. I've actually got the instructions about how to complete it. And the goal is to create clarity on your agency branding, positioning, your mission and your value statements, and your core values. So you want to start with what are important values for you. At the end of the day, it is your agency. So it is very important to get that. You will be taking this document, you will be presenting it to the team, you'll be making videos out of this document for attracting good fit clients. You'll also be using it in your recruitment. It's a document that you will reflect on and revise every year, probably at the beginning of the year when you're planning the year ahead. And what you're going to do is go through this, and I'll just flick through the questions. You're going to look at your branding, like, what is your why? Like, why did you even start this agency? What was the purpose of it? What is your contribution? What difference do you make to your clients? What is the impact that you have with these clients? And how would you describe your brand? Where do you see your company in 5 years? So you can see these are very in-depth questions that require time away from the office. And they go on through a series of this, through your brand identity, through your raison d'etre, like your why. Why are you even doing this, and what is the purpose, and where are you going? This is a very, very important exercise to do. It's well over 40 questions. So take the time, book it, document, reflect. If you're with your business partner, maybe they want to do one and you want to do one, and you want to combine them together to see where you're at. Are there any differences, and what are the similarities? So once you've done that exercise, like I said, the first thing to do then is to prepare it in a way that you're going to present it in the culture workshop. But before you do the workshop, you want to actually go ahead and send out a sample survey. Again, there is a link for this in the landing page to the masterclass. And you're going to ask the following questions. Why do you like working in this agency? What does the word culture mean to you? What makes your agency a special place to work? What would you change if you were the CEO or the owner or the MD? And can you share an idea of how we can improve communication in your agency? So communication is a really important part of creating a good culture. If you have people snapping at each other, or you have people sitting with their headphones on all day long, yeah, they might be doing the work, but they're not interacting with everyone. And that is an important thing to monitor. Another question is to find out, like, what companies do you admire for their great company culture and why? So get some brainstorming going. And then finally on the questionnaire, again, you can add more to this, but what events would you like us to do together in our office as a team? Or, it could be offsite as well. So you want to get some interaction from them going that this is leading somewhere. This questionnaire is about the culture, it's about team activities, and it has a set goal. You now will have all the answers back. It is also relevant to bear in mind if you do have somebody not responding and you've prompted them and they keep saying, oh, I'll get around to it. I think it's time to book a one-on-one with them. If they're not responding, it's probably because they don't care, or maybe they don't understand, but it's more likely that they just, you have to talk to them one-on-one about it. The survey is going to be real. You might ask maybe one of your office managers, maybe you don't want to see this directly, maybe you want to get a third party in to work on it. But the survey is going to be real, especially if people care about your business. So be prepared for the answers. The thing that I would do is put all of the answers, take the names out obviously, and put all the answers into a deck. So the questions and the answers, and present them in that way. What you're going to do is take the negative ones out. This isn't about negativity in this meeting. This is about positivity, but you're going to deal with the negative ones one-on-one. So you're going to talk to that person and go, look, I realize that this is a problem for you. How can we solve it and deal with it? And in the culture workshop, you're going to reference, yeah, it wasn't all great in the survey, but as you know, each one of you who had something that wasn't positive, we've dealt with that, and it's about moving forward to create a positive experience. Otherwise, it'll just end up being just a talk fest, and it can spiral down into negativity. There's no need for that. Deal with the negative ones one-on-one, and then move forward into positivity. So you're going to start this culture workshop by sharing, you're going to share your mission, your values. You're going to share that agency positioning exercise. You're going to talk to the room and watch the room. Who's moving into the story? Who loves the story? Whose eyes are opening up? Who's backing off? Who's just sitting there going, no, this isn't for me? Now, they could be just having a bad day, or they could be hungry or tired. It's a good idea to maybe provide this as a lunch and learn kind of event. Maybe get some sandwiches and some tea and coffee for people if you wanted to do it that way. But the whole goal here is to see who's on board and see who's on part of your vision and your mission and your values. And then you're going to present all the answers to them so that they can see, and put all the values up as a team. You can actually see all the different people, all their different values, and you'll be so surprised at how many are the same. And then together, the next goal is to boil down all of the values into 5 as a team. So you're going to get to the team to do an exercise individually. They write their 5 values on Post-it notes, then set them together in pairs, and in a pair they have to agree on 5 as a pair, and you keep going like that, and to do it in 3, in 4, in 5, until you have 5 core values of your agency. These are the backbone of your agency. It's about how you're describing, what is important to you. And then I always advise people to actually go ahead and put them up on the wall of your agency. It is a really powerful exercise to have them up on the wall. The next part is to actually ask everyone how to describe how they feel as a team in the agency. What are their personalities? What is important to them? Why do they like to be there? And all of these answers are there from the survey answers, just about fleshing them out and talking about them. Now, while you have everyone together, this is kind of a bonus part to this. You have everyone together, and communication is a very important part of having a good culture. You could take the option to spend the time now to work on how will we communicate together as rules for the office, like guidelines. So here's some examples of, again, do the exercise. Everyone writes down individually, 5 or 6. Then they come together, they build a list, and maybe you get to a list of 10 office rules. It's things like we talk and listen in equal measures. We use eye contact and we are energetic in our questions. We use succinct language. We don't use too much jargon. We try to remind ourselves that simple language is always best. You can have times of when between 10 and 12, there are no headphones in the office because we all want to interact with each other and talk. But then maybe from 2 till 4, headphones are allowed. So these guidelines are really important for everyone to agree on because that forms trust. Remember, what you're trying to build here is like, okay, you could have great culture, but you could have terrible communication going on in the office. Again, print, have them up, they're all decided, they're all agreed upon, and have everyone commit to them, going, yes, I commit to these rules for my office. The next thing you're going to do is, and this might take a bit of preparation from you, what are your company guidelines, your rules of conduct for employees and employers? Where are the paternity leave guidelines? Where are the holiday booking and managing your work? What do you, if you're big enough, you could be using a tool like Workday or something like that to manage holidays. Or if you're small enough, it just could be a Google form, a Google calendar and a form to submit for your holiday request. You must have a clear list of your agency perks. Now, I mean everything in this. Like, it is a perk to come into an office and have a fridge with milk and coffee, and maybe do you provide snacks for them? That's a perk. Remind them that it's a perk because the money for that has to be paid from the profitability of your business. Benefits and career development paths, are they all accessible? Perhaps they're all in a Google folder, but again, you're going to need to remind people, by the way, a lot goes on in this office and it's all reliant on everyone working together. And by the way, here it is where you can find it. So in the beginning, you can just have them in a Google folder so everyone can see what transparency, everyone can see what the perks and benefits are. Obviously, you're going to keep wages and keep everything to do with those bonuses are going to be private. But when it comes to, holidays, paternity leave, code of conduct, now you have your communication guidelines, holding them in one place and making them accessible for people. And at this point, you could maybe talk about what perks do they not want anymore, or what do they want to replace? Are there benefits that are out there? Get the conversation flowing about what do they want. It's a really good time to do this when you're working on your culture code. Step 5, this is such a simple one that's overlooked on so many offices. People love walking into an office that has been thoughtfully decorated, and this does not have to be expensive. This can be putting a budget of a few $100s together and heading up to IKEA or Walmart and getting plants or fake plants or pictures or some pot holders or containers and some poster images, and just getting them up on the wall. Work together now to decide on, do you have a theme? Is there a color code? Is there a logo that you have that could be turned into a mascot? Is there a cuddly toy that was something like a squirrel or a rabbit that you have? So what would it be to actually bond the office together? And you could work on that over a series of a few weeks and plan it. And then think about, are there other locations to be considered? Do you have multiple offices, or do you have remote workers? And perhaps for the remote workers, they just need a sign, a poster, or an actual framed sign of your company logo and name in a frame and the mascot. Or there's a thing that a remote worker can have so that they feel connected to the head office. A tiny thing, but has massive impact, especially if you get everyone on board. There could be a design the office decor competition. You could run that over a few weeks. It doesn't have to start today, but start the process of thinking about it and planning about it. You could set goals. You can go, look, if we get over 72% utilization next quarter, I'll put an extra $1,000 into the budget, and we can go on up to IKEA and we can get more plans, so we can get more things. So start to incentivize the team. It brings them together and it makes them feel connected. And again, that sense of family and security, which also leads to being proud of the office. They're not going to be messy in the office. They're going to take care of it. It's theirs. They're connected to it. And step 6 is bringing together a culture committee. So 4 or 5 people who are going to meet once a month, and they are responsible for keeping the culture code alive. They are going to be responsible for the office decor. They're going to be responsible for the calendar of birthdays, looking ahead at the month. How many birthdays are coming up? Is there 2 in 1 week? Could you celebrate, if there's one on a Tuesday and one on a Thursday, could you celebrate the birthday on a Wednesday together, or individual ones? It's entirely up to you. Calendar of team building activities. You've already collected the ideas of what they want to do. So now build a calendar, have it in Google, have everyone contribute, and then you can put together ideas. The committee will meet once a month, preferably at the beginning of the month. And they're going to plan the events. You need to give them a budget, a small budget for birthday cakes, team building events, and they can work on that as a plan, and they'll report into you as the agency owner on how things are progressing. It does take 6 months for this to kind of blossom and flow and get into the habit of it, but it does happen, and it is really, really powerful. With the culture committee as well, it's a brilliant opportunity to get them in and part of your social media calendar. They can do Instagram takeovers. If they share it out, there's 4 people on the committee, 1 week, each person looks after the Instagram. They take pictures of the birthday. They take pictures of the team building activities. They take photographs of the office decor. They talk about, maybe they feature themselves, a day in the life of me in my agency that I work with, and I love being here, etc. Social media calendar, Instagram, they post on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. And now you are showing the human side of your agency, which is a fabulous attraction for other employees, and also shows your clients that you are taking care of your employees, which today is a really important factor for working with clients. So, sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? You have the downloads, you have the step-by-step now, you have this recording of the video. It's now time to put everything into action. And if it all sounds like a lot of work, it is a lot of work in the beginning, but once it's up and rolling, it rolls itself and it becomes a living, breathing organism, and you will be so grateful that you put this in play in your agency. Because let's remind you, it's going to be easier to attract talent when you've got a good company culture. They're friends of the employees in your business and even competitors. I have seen this happening. I have seen agencies with good culture have their competitors, people come over and say, I love what you guys are doing. Could I come and work with you? You hear clients are going to say, or clients and prospects are going to say to you, I hear you are great to work with. People are going to talk about the great experience they've had working with the great people in your business. Your office happiness is good. So that survey I was telling you about, sending that out, Office Vibe, Tiny Pulse, whichever it is. You're going to walk in every day and see a clean and tidy workspace, because the team cares about where they work, and they're going to look after it. The team organize get-togethers themselves. So yes, you're going to put a budget together. You're going to pay for cakes, and you're going to pay for maybe a team building event. Maybe the team building event is off-site once a quarter. Maybe it's just end of month pizza and beers to celebrate the month in the office, and then once a quarter outside the office. But what you're going to notice is the team's going to organize things to do together. They're going to go to the cinema together. They're going to have dinners together. They're going to meet up at the weekends, because they've common values. They've common interests. And we all know there'll be the office romance. And I've seen plenty of agency marriages come as a result of these extracurricular activities, because they are aligned. It's really lovely. You're going to have your utilization up. People are going to be working diligently on their own careers. They're going to be happy to be there. They're going to go the extra mile with your clients. And once you have the right systems in place for time tracking, project management, and they have everything that they need, you're going to see that increase. The next thing you're going to see is team unity. You know, it is important to have your team pulling together for the holidays, for the sick leave. You don't want to be dragged into delivery all the time. You're going to get feedback all the time. There's going to be an open door where they feel comfortable talking to you about, look, that didn't work very well last week, or hey, we could do better the next time. They're not going to wait for a survey. You're going to hear it, but the survey will go out every week if you can, and you will get the feedback all the time. And the final one, which is also a great one, you're going to have really great client and staff retention rates. They're going to be high. So I don't know about you. I look at a list like that and I think, you know what, that is a really good agency. And it does come to a very strong culture and a very active culture code that goes on all the time. If you want to get some examples of who's doing this well, I've actually interviewed all of these agencies over the last few weeks. Salt and Stone and Impulse Creative and Impact. And if you listen to those podcasts in Agency Life, it's on all the different platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. But if you listen to what they talk about, the successes in their agency, they all put it down to having a great culture. They've got great staff, expertise, good sales, but when it comes to culture, it is the extra mile that makes a huge difference. So check them out, look at their websites, look at what they're putting online, listen to the podcasts. And finally, some extra reading for you is the HubSpot Culture Code. It's actually on YouTube. You're able to find it there. What a great company. They're an American software company who has an incredible culture. And you can look at it. It's great. Attraction tool for them for recruitment, and customers are drawn to it. It's really, really powerful. Dharmesh, owner of the business, set it up years ago. He was digging really deep into culture and he got very passionate about it. So good company to look at there. Also, Zappos is a shoe company. They are based out of Las Vegas, which is a really unusual place to have a business. But they have some great information on culture and how they've fostered a really good culture. And then a good book to read, which is The Culture Code by Daniel Coyle. So some extra reading there. So thank you for being on this masterclass. You now have all the resources you need, everything you could possibly want to set up a culture code. Give yourself 4 weeks to do this, the preparation and the generation, having the workshop, and then set up your committee and start fostering a really great culture code for your agency. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Clodagh at growitgroup.com. More than happy to answer them. And if you'd like any more information on what we do, or if you'd like some hands-on help, please reach out. We're always here to help you have the agency of your dreams.